Hey everyone, and welcome. Whether you're running a gigantic factory or you're just trying to figure out how to organize your garage, the rules for getting things done right, they're pretty much universal. Today, we're going to dive into the nuts and bolts of manufacturing mastery and uncover how to stop all those hidden drains on your productivity. Okay, let's get into it. First things first, we got to clear something up. On the one hand, you've got productivity. That's simple. It's just doing more things, making more widgets per hour. But on the other hand, you've got efficiency. And that's about doing things right. It's about getting the same result, or even better, with the absolute least amount of wasted time, effort, and materials. It's really the difference between just being busy and actually being effective.
So if efficiency is the goal, we have to know what we're up against. We need to identify the enemy. So what are these hidden forces that are quietly sabotaging everything we're trying to do?
The villain of our story, the one thing we're trying to defeat, is a single, simple concept: waste. And listen, this isn't just about what you throw in the trash can. Waste is any activity that uses up resources but doesn't create any value for the customer. It's the silent thief that steals your profits, your time, and can even compromise safety.
And what's really fascinating is that waste is a master of disguise. The Japanese term for it is muda, and it's been broken down into these 8 major categories. Now, some are super obvious, right? Like defects that you have to fix or throw away. But others are way more subtle, like the wasted motion of a worker having to walk across the room to grab a tool, or maybe the most tragic one, the non-utilized talent of an employee who has brilliant ideas, but nobody ever asks for them.
So how do we fight this villain? Well, every good story needs a hero. And in the manufacturing world, that hero is a really powerful philosophy we call lean.
At its heart, lean is actually incredibly simple. It's just a relentless, nonstop focus on one single question. Does this thing I'm doing add value for my customer? If the answer is no, it's waste. And if it's waste, the goal is to get rid of it. The entire system is built to create more value with less work. It's that straightforward.
And lean goes even deeper. It's not just about fighting muda, or that obvious waste we just talked about. It's also about tackling muri. That's when you overburden your people or your machines, pushing them to the breaking point. And it's about fighting mora, which is the unevenness and inconsistency in your workflow. The real goal here is a process that's smooth, balanced, and sustainable for the long haul.
Okay, so a philosophy is great, but talk is cheap, right? How do you actually put this into practice on the ground? Let's open up the toolbox and look at the real-world tools you use to wage war on waste. Our first tool is called 5S. And honestly, the best way to think about it is organizing a messy kitchen. When everything has its own specific, logical home, you can cook way faster, much safer, and with a whole lot less stress. 5S is all about bringing that same simple logic to the factory floor.
The method is a 5-step dance. First, you sort through everything and get rid of anything you don't need. Then you set what's left in a logical order. After that, you shine the workplace, keeping it clean, which also lets you inspect your equipment. Then, and these last two are absolutely key, you standardize these new habits so everyone does it the same way. And finally, you build the discipline to sustain it over the long run. This one thing alone can slash search times and make the whole place safer. Next up is Kaizen, and this is a big one. This is not about some massive top-down overhaul that costs a fortune. No, the magic of Kaizen is in the small, continuous, tiny improvements that come from the employees themselves. The people who actually know the process inside and out.
What this does is create a culture of continuous improvement. It's incredible. When every single employee feels empowered to suggest a small change, like moving a tool just a little bit closer or tweaking a step in the process, the combined effect over time is just enormous. It builds engagement and solves problems right where they happen. All right, our final tool has a fantastic name, Poka-yoke. It literally translates to mistake-proofing. The whole idea is to design your process so that it's physically impossible to make an error in the first place. Think about a USB cable, right? It only fits in one way. You can't mess it up. That's Poka-yoke in your daily life. On a factory floor, maybe it's a fixture that only lets you insert a part the correct way. Or it could be a crucial safety feature, like 2 hand controls on a giant press, which guarantees the operator's hands are out of harm's way before that machine cycles. It's genius. Now, you've got this amazing toolbox, but you can't just start throwing tools at problems randomly. There's a structure to it, a playbook for making real change that actually sticks. It starts with taking a hard, honest look at where you are right now. Then, you have to prioritize. You can't fix everything at once, so you focus on what's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck.
You then apply the tools in a logical sequence, usually starting with 5S to clear the clutter. And all the way through, you have to engage your people and constantly measure your results to make sure you sustain those hard-won gains. Okay, so the big question, does all of this theory actually, work? Let's forget the philosophy for a second and look at some cold, hard data from real factories.
Check this out. This textile factory applied lean principles and cut their cycle time from 472 down to 438 seconds. Now, you might look at that and think, 34 seconds, big deal. But oh, it is a huge deal. When you shave 34 seconds off every single cycle, that adds up to a massive 7% jump in productivity day in and day out.
And that's just one small example. When you apply this stuff across the board, studies show that lean can boost your overall productivity by as much as 50%. I mean, think about that. That's like getting an extra half a day's worth of work done every single day for free. It also makes your expensive machines work way better. By focusing on getting ahead of maintenance and eliminating downtime, factories see up to a 30% improvement in something called overall equipment effectiveness. Your machinery just runs more often, runs faster, and produces better stuff. And here it is, the knockout punch. When you combine lean with other data-driven approaches like Six Sigma, you can see a potential drop in your defect rates of up to 90%. Just imagine eliminating nearly all of your costly rework, scrap, and angry customer phone calls. But here's the real takeaway. This way of thinking, this relentless hunt to eliminate waste and create value, it's not just for multi-million-dollar assembly lines. It applies to absolutely everything. Your workflow at the office, how you organize your projects, even how you run your home. So, I'll leave you with this challenge. Look at your own life, your own daily routines. What's the wasted motion? What's the unnecessary step? What's the non-utilized talent? What is one small piece of waste that you could go out and eliminate starting tomorrow?